Hey everyone, welcome to the OSG Garage. I'm the old slow guy Keith, and today we're going to talk about my GPZ 550 and specifically an issue I'm having where when you go to goose the throttle, it revs up and it won't come back off of 4,000 RPM to go back down to idle. Now, a lot of you would say, dude, vacuum leak, check everything out. Well, I've gone through everything on this setup. I've got new boots, I've gone through the diaphragms and these CV carbs. Kind of gone through everything, went through every possible place I could find a vacuum leak, and we can't find anything. It looks just perfect to us. So the last thing we're going to look at are the pilot valves down here. So we called Jets R Us, well, called them, we went on their website, and I've got two sets of the two biggest sizes of pilot jets here. So what we got here is a set of jets for our TK carbs that came stock on this thing. Now, one of the problems with these things is these are constant velocity carbs. They basically use vacuum to move the floats or the to move everything up and down and to get. What's in here? Oh, that sucks. Oh, here it is. A couple. Oh, and a cool sticker too. Jets R Us. So what we're thinking is, the original pilots in there are a little bit lean, so when it starts sensing the vacuum, it just kind of revs up and it won't come off of that because it's kind of starving for fuel. So we're going to throw these guys in. I've got two sets. I got a 35 and a 37.5, and I think the stock is 32. So when we pull it apart, we'll find out, right? So the first thing we're going to do is start by kind of getting access to the carburetors. Now, I've been doing this so many times, tuning these things and checking it out, I feel like I could pretty much do this in my sleep. I've been back and forth, taking this apart, putting it back together. It's like I think this whole process takes about, 5-10 minutes. Loosen up the bands here on the boots. These are brand new boots too. New old stock boots. So I know those aren't leaking. It's funny when you put all this stuff to post everything on all the chat boards and everything. You get a million and different opinions from people who say they had the same problem. Well, I put pods on and couldn't get it to run, and another guy, I put pods on and it works fine on mine. And since these things are all basically 36 years old at this point, they're all slightly different and they're all just a little bit finicky. So what works for one might not necessarily work for the other ones. Give it a little twist, and there you go. Carb is off. So the pilot jets are here in the bowls. Oops, wrong screwdriver. Screwdriver. Take off the screws that keep the float bowl on. These are all pretty new screws. I've kind of gone through and painted these things up a little bit. I've gone through with the rebuild kit, but I never touched the pilot valves for whatever reason. But now we're just going to make them bigger. So there's a 34 in here right now. We're going to go to, I got a 35 and a 37. We're going right to the 37. And the pilot valve on this particular carburetor rests right under this cap right here. And basically all this thing is a plastic cap that's basically held in with O-ring friction. And that's it. And there she is. Let's see what they had for O-ring in there. And that's the cap. And the problem you have with these guys is that O-ring isn't a really cool size. The one that comes in the replacement kit is too big. So if you want to try not to save it out, you shear it out again, you kind of have to just leave where it is. So we're going to unscrew the cap, the pilot valve, pilot jet. There we go. Give it a little flip upside down. There is the pilot jet. And the new one, like I said, is a 37, so we'll put the new one back in there. I've already kind of made sure it was cleaned out, clear. It had no blockage. Because even though they're new, doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't some schmutz in there. So the problem you have with this now is this O-ring is almost too big. So we're just going to push it back in, and there you go. That's it. Put the cap back on, put the float bowl back on, and we are done. That's it. Because you basically live and learn every day, there is a post right here. You can see it, that post. That post basically pushes down on top of this when it's on there so it can't back off. So it's not just the O-ring. It's not just the O-ring that keeps that thing on. It's got a little stopper on the inside of the float bowl. So that's nice, huh? Don't have to worry about that stopper backing off. So it feels like I've been in this place many times before. I just hope like hell that this actually does the trick this time, because I'm running out of options to do. So I'm going to put the throttle cable back on the bell crank here first before I do anything else. Slide that bad girl in there. Sure, there we go. Pull it back up. Put the throttle into the keeper, and then slowly work the carbs on to the carb boots. And that's basically it. We'll tighten up these clamps, tighten up the strap clamps, which are interesting to get to, kind of under. And you got to angle the screws down on this one in the back so you can get at it. The ones here aren't so bad. I'm going to do the other side and then hook up the... All right. We got gas. Let's see what happens here. Oh, keys. Keys would be helpful. Choke on. Clutch. Alright, so as long as we're got all this down, it's glad. I think pilot valves, I think it fixed it all. I think we're in great shape now because of the changing of the pilot valves. So as long as I got the tank off and I got the test fuel system on, I got the carburetor sync here now. So what we're going to do is hook this up to the vacuum taps on each carburetor. We're going to go from the number 1 all the way to the number 4. And you have to check your particular motorcycle, but on this GPZ, the way you do this is there's a screw between the 1 and the 2. There's 3 screws. There's a screw between the 1 and the 2 cylinder. You do this one first, the second set of carbs you do between the 3 and 4. And lastly, there's a balancing screw for those 2 sets of carbs to the next 2 sets of carbs. That's how you sync up on this one, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and hook this up and turn it on, and we'll show you guys how we're gonna check it. Now, it should be good. I think I got this thing where it needs to be from the last time I synced up the carburetors. Now, it is warmed up. I got it slightly warm here, and I can tell that because my hands are burning a little bit. So we'll get the rest of these guys plugged into the vacuum ports here. These aren't too bad. So the balance between these 2 cylinders and these 2 cylinders are just a little bit off. So all we really have to do is a little bit of adjustment between these guys and these guys. All right? So that's all we have to do. So I'm not going to play with the 2 outer banks. I'm only going to adjust the center bank. Now to do this, I've got a fancy wrench I cobbed together. That's basically a socket with a slot for a screwdriver to go through. So you can adjust the lock nut with this one and do the carb sync with this one. We're going to put this down, loosen up the lock screw. So I loosened up that lock screw, and now you can see as I turn this, these lines will come a little bit more imperfect. And it's not perfect. I'm really not trying to get this thing to be perfect. It's kind of nearly impossible to do that. Getting it close is a good thing. Well, that's it. I think that's success. So we went from a 34 to a 37 pilot jet, and all of a sudden we don't have that surging issue. Comes right back down off of idle. Didn't take long to heat up either, or to warm up. Let's give it another shot here. Nice. Sounds real good. Real good. Sounds real good too, doesn't it? So all that's left is to put it all back together and kind of go for an extended ride, huh? Let's do it. Gas on. I always forget to do that. Let's see how this goes. Not only does it have, doesn't seem to come off that low. Unbelievable. very, very nice. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for the Old Slow Guy Garage today. I think we're going to chalk this one up to a big success. We're back. So now it's time to ride the living crap out of this thing. See you later.